Hi, and welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. We have all lived the effects of the narcissist's manipulations, and we've experienced the damage to our life as a result of narcissists manipulating. But does that have to affect and tear our life apart? I don't believe it does, because there is a way that we can become impervious to the narcissist's manipulation. We can detox ourselves from them, and we can have a clean, healthy, wholesome life without the lies, games, and the rubbish. And in this episode, I'm going to explain to you why narcissists manipulate and how we can awaken to what is really going on and remove ourselves permanently from that. For most of us in narcissistic relationships, our greatest frustration with a narcissist is stuff like, why do you need to do that? Why do you lie? Why don't you just be honest and ask for what you want, or talk about what's going on for you? And for many of us, we looked at what they were doing and we shook our heads. It was in fact often crazy obvious that there was something really not right about the ways narcissists operate. And interestingly, many people get into relationships with narcissists, people who actually understand human psychology. There are so many people who are qualified psychologists and counselors or healers or personal development people, really smart people who have deep insight into human behavior, who watch narcissists twist and turn and shake their heads. They wonder why on earth a narcissist who's always getting into trouble, having a displaced life, and chasing their own tail would bother with all the BS. The truth is, a narcissist does not know any other way to do it. And even more, they simply just can't show up honestly. In fact, the thought of doing so feels unthinkable to them. And what is really interesting is that narcissists, all of them really, manipulate in pretty much identical ways. They use the same defense tactics. They even say the same expressions. Because this is how false selves operate. This is how people who were taken over by an over-energized ego behave, with manipulation tactics such as love bombing to secure people as narcissistic supply. And this is not just in an intimate relationship sense. A narcissist will love bomb anyone for any purpose, telling that person exactly what they want to hear about themselves so that they can be putty in the narcissist's hands. And narcissists are also very capable of outrageous pathological lies, triangulation, smear campaigns, and other associated behaviours which defy any human reason or explanation. When surely just being real and honest could suffice. Why do they do this? Let me explain. Because until we understand narcissism at its deepest core, we may believe that narcissists are all-powerful and overconfident. However, nothing could be further from the truth. Rather, they are instead deeply insecure beings full of fear. And there is only one reason people manipulate. It's this: the fear that they will not get their needs met on their own merits. And this is the very basis of narcissism. An individual who's divorced themselves from their true self because it was unable to be enough to have his or her needs met. And as an emotional survival tactic, the false self was assigned the job of being at the helm instead. Narcissists, for all their bravado and hubris, at their deepest core do not believe that they are enough, as they are. They believe that they're separated from being worthy of the goodies of life and from being supported by other people as well as life itself. And therefore, they've pitted themselves in every way unconsciously as It's me versus the world. And this immediately creates a scarcity consciousness. When someone believes that they are not worthy of the good stuff and they don't have an organic connection with well-being, or hold the beliefs that they are flourished and nourished by life, this creates beliefs of lack and scarcity. And someone has to miss out and lose for another to gain. And there's also the fear of, if I don't fight and maneuver myself in position in order to win, somebody's going to beat me to it. I have to stop them doing that. Of course, all of these feelings are stressful and driven by anxiety because they are false beliefs that false selves have brought to the collective. They're not how we were meant to live or how we were meant to love each other. Narcissists are the pinnacle of these destructive, painful beliefs. How people see themselves at their deepest core is how they feel about others. Narcissists don't trust anybody. Narcissists are tormented by their self-divorced, stunted, damaged true self, who they have no intention of going to reviving and healing back to wholeness. Rather, their ego, the false self, viciously defends and tries to hide from the world the huge insecurities of, I'm not worthy of life working out for me, and I'm not worthy of life and other people having my best interests at heart. How this is hidden is with pathological manipulation. Narcissism is a pathological manifestation of an ego run amok, trying to cover over an intensely damaged, insecure inner self. This creates unconsciousness. And let's have a deeper look at what being unconscious is really about, because I promise you it is deeply linked into manipulation. Unconsciousness is the inability to make the direct correlation between one's choices and actions and life results, an internal level of beingness. The narcissist is incapable of learning how his or her manipulation isn't healthy or productive. And when we start waking up into consciousness, we realize so within, so without. In other words, what my beliefs are is how I will feel, think and behave, who I will attract and be attracted to as human players in my life experience, and what I will choose to play out with these people. And ultimately, the reflection back of my inner self composition with the experiences that I have with life and these people. So if we have a damaged consciousness full of trauma, we may wish to blame and look outside ourselves rather than realize that we are the generative source of our own experience. Narcissists are stuck in this. Profound wounding and huge defense mechanisms, which means the sole focus of life is through the false self, the ego, means a profound lack of accountability and responsibility for one's life. When this crosses the line into pathological behavior, the ends justify the means. The line has been crossed into immoral behavior in order to ensure survival. And the narcissist will have a disordered reason as to why he or she does what they do. And please know this, no one can do anything and stay in that particular position for any amount of time unless they have a reason that they believe justifies it. In other words, all people, including narcissists and extremists like suicide bombers, do what they do, the things that we believe are completely outrageous, because of their model of the world, which really means how they view the outer world as a result of their inner belief systems. And I remember narcissist number one, when I used to ask him why he did something unthinkable or abusive, and he would say such things like, "You made me angry." And he said it like it was a totally valid justification, like something I should have just said, yeah, okay, I understand. Of course that makes sense. But of course, this level of consciousness was in alignment with his stunted, traumatized inner self, who was emotionally arrested somewhere back as a small damaged inner child that he'd never, sadly, healed beyond. Unconscious people believe that manipulation in a perceived unsafe world is the way to get results, despite these results not bringing durable satisfaction and ending up emotionally or literally back at square one, time and time again. Then, to try to avoid the pain of this, another manipulation needs to be created. Why doesn't manipulation pay off past the initial quick fix? It's this reason. Because the action of the manipulation is not an effective or authentic action. It's a defensive reaction to try to offset fear, pain, and unworthiness. The ultimate level of unconsciousness is the non-understanding that we're all connected as one. Therefore, by trying to create gain via manipulation rather than authenticity means that the personal result is non-authenticity, and anything gained from that level of unconsciousness can only and will only ever create hollow victories, ongoing pain and emptiness and fear, and of course even greater unworthiness. Unworthiness is a dire separation from life and others, and ourselves, of course. It's the fear of being unworthy of being loved and accepted by others in life, and loved and accepted by ourselves. So I really now just want to end off. I want to spin this around as I like to do so that we can take the power back to ourselves. How in our codependent nature maybe have we at times manipulated? And why have we done that? And what can we heal within ourselves so that we become more authentic and so that we no longer play out our lives with false selves? Remember the quantum law, so within, so without. It's so important. And I can assure you it doesn't need to be narcissistic people who are manipulators. The truth is, anyone, when we're triggered into our young unhealed wounds and we feel unsafe, unworthy and unlovable, we too may show up manipulating. And before we heal ourselves, we may not even be aware of what we're doing, or we may even make justifications for our behaviour, even if we are aware. And we may also be stuck in the blaming of others instead of taking responsibility for why we aren't getting the results from our life that we want to have. Maybe we've been giving to get, trying to make ourselves indispensable in someone's life so that they will love us and then be horrified when they leave us regardless. And until we awaken, we may not realize that this manipulation by us is causing inauthentic results in our life. We're showing up in ways that don't inspire others to love us, even though that was our intention. I remember an expression I heard years ago. Neediness is the worst cologne. It's true. And in stark contrast, authenticity and wholeness is done sexy. Or we may be manipulating in this way. We may be controlling, wanting to know somebody's every move and guilt them into being accountable to us because we've lived a history of infidelity and seen the wounds and absorbed the trauma of that. And then be totally convinced that all men or women are unfaithful. And then we discover that they were in fact having affairs, not realizing that our original wounds keep us locked into these cycles, attracted to and attractive to exactly the people who match our wounds. And no amount of manipulation and trying to organize life around our wounds is going to make one scrap of difference. What does work is being a healed person who's confronted and released our traumas. And then we stop manipulating and we start showing up as a whole person, free to be ourselves, which is infinitely lovable. Instead of trying to twist ourselves into a pretzel to make other people think that we're lovable. You can't get love and truth. You can only be it, and then it comes. Can you see the incredible and massive difference? So which person would you be attracted to? The one trying to manipulate to get love, or somebody who is just whole and in their power and their truth? And it's so important to understand that there is so much growth that we can take on as a result of being narcissistically abused when we get past engaging in trying to change somebody else's manipulative behavior. Because our recovery is about coming into consciousness, healing our own traumas, no matter how they got there, and becoming whole and authentic. No longer trying to bargain, plead, or play off anything in life. And certainly then we can heal beyond the need to stay attached to or playing it out with narcissists. So I hope that this has helped you understand how manipulation plays out, and I'd love you to come over to the blog to have a conversation about this at blog.melanietoniaevans.com. And until the next Thriver TV episode, you know what to do. Keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.